All right, all right. It's that time again. It's the second Sunday of the month. Actually, my bad. It's the fourth Sunday of the month, the 22nd of May. And we are here kicking it with Brother Ed. You're in the right place. Don't worry about nothing. Don't change that dial, as they say. This is KWBE here today, Sunday at 2 p.m. Man, we have a very special guest for you here today. Can't wait for you to meet him. He's going to educate us. He's going to give us food for thought. He's going to give us some great information that, well, many of us have been thinking about, but we haven't talked about it. And I'm talking about the one, the only Reggie Johnson, who's the president of the NAACP Metuchen Edison branch. Man, we can't wait to hear from this brother. He's got some stuff to share with us today. So without further ado, let's just bring him in. Reginald Johnson, amen. God bless
Hey.
you, Brother Johnson. How you doing today?
All right, I'm doing really well. How you doing, Brother Ed?
I'm blessed. Thank you for asking. I'm very, very blessed. So let's get
Matter of
right
fact,
to it.
thank you for the invitation. I watch your show and I enjoy it immensely. So, yeah.
Excellent. Now, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for that plug.
Hmm.
As the ticker says, viewing audience, this program has been pre-recorded, but you're still gonna get the same stuff. You always get good stuff. Uh, we might throw something in there, some kind of incentive at the end, something especially for you. But whatever the case, just know that you're gonna get everything you can get, and we still would like you to give us a thumbs up and to say something in the chat box, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're really one of our great supporters, both of those venues. Okay, God bless you. Let's talk to our brother President Reginald Johnson of the NAACP Metuchen Edison branch. So, President Johnson, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to have this position. And I know because I'm a member of the NAACP myself,
Yes,
I
you
know how
are.
hard you work. So I'm a member of
And
your
you're
branch, as a matter of fact.
yeah,
So
and
uh,
you're on the executive committee. So yeah,
I am
we
indeed.
appreciate
I'm
your
the
effort. Yes.
religious educator. And
Yeah.
I want to hear, how did you get there? And I know you've been there a long time. I want you to like chat about that if you would.
Well, I've been president of this branch for 33 years. It feels like 50 years, but I've been 33 years. I got involved because one of the gentlemen at a church was talking about his transition from the South. He had migrated from the South up here to the Northeast, and he shared a story about as an 8-year-old seeing his friend get killed. They had this enterprise where they were selling watermelons on the side of the road, and a white kid on a bicycle came by and asked for a piece, and they refused to give him a piece because he didn't have any money. And then he went back and got his father, and his father came back with a shotgun and said, "Which of the two of you had declined giving my son a piece of watermelon?" And the his friend was a 13-year-old. He said, "I did," and he was shot, killed, and
Wow, is that
left on the
right?
side of the road. So this individual was traumatized by that experience, and his parents uh, sent him up north to stay with relatives, and he would share stories about that. I experienced a little bit of that because my father was in the military, and we traveled throughout the South. We traveled from New Jersey to California, back and forth. And matter of fact, we used the Green Book to. We were one of
Wow.
they came out with the movie, but we knew about the Green Book because that's how we were able to get through driving down Route 66. And
Can I interrupt you real quick?
yeah. Hmm.
Some of our audience, certainly not all, most probably are familiar with the Green Book is, but there are some who don't. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, the Green Book was a way of us traveling from point A to B, utilizing information supplied really from the porters on the trains. They would travel on the trains and they would familiarize themselves with locations that would allow us to remember. We were during that time, it was segregation, and
Right.
we couldn't use gas stations, we couldn't use sleeping quarters, hotels, motels, and so we had to make ends meet. So that Green Book allowed us to, depending on which state we were in, we could look it up and travel in that manner. And it really kind of saved our life.
Yeah.
Even eating facilities. I mean, just doing that. And if we came to an area where it wasn't serviced, we couldn't find anything in the Green Book. We would travel to the train station, and then they did have porters, and the porter would come out, and we would ask him if he knew where we could get gas and all of that. But most of
Wow.
that trip, we would sleep in our car, and we would. You know, do whatever we had to do. My mother would
Right.
make sandwiches, and we keep them in a picnic basket, and we would travel with them sandwiches in the whenever we could get a meal. And then I had the experience of we were in the beach in New Jersey. You know, people don't realize that the beaches in New Jersey were segregated,
Mm.
and so we,
Wow.
my father being a military man who'd spent over 30 years in the military, we he took us to the beach one time, and one of the officers told us that we had to move to the so-called colored section of the beach. Uh,
Wow. When
as a
was it?
result, oh man, we're going back into 50s. I would say the late 50s,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I mean, you really the late 50s. You know, we're not even talking about 1800s or
Right.
early,
Right.
1900s. We're talking about the 50s. And so my father made a commitment to the family. He said he'd never patronize a New Jersey beach, so he would take us to New York. So for greater part of my growing up, when we went to the beach, we went to New York beaches because they were integrated.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what kind of fueled me to get involved with civil rights. After hearing that one story about how that young man had lost his friend, I decided to be a member, and then no one wanted to be president when I joined. The person
Right.
who is currently the president said, "Hey, I'm burnt out. I need to get out of here. Does
Right.
anybody want the job?" So I raised my hand, and boy, I had a head full of hair back then. You know, you could look at me now.
I
Matter of fact,
understand.
look at hey, you see what happened to President Obama and
Yes.
those 8 years of being president. You know, his
Right.
hair turned completely gray.
Completely
Well,
white. Yes.
yeah, completely white. Well, mine just went.
Right. I can relate. We're right there.
Yes, yes.
So that's what made you join, and you rose your hand, and you raised your hand, you became president.
Yes, 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 yes.
33 years.
33 years. Had a lot of interesting cases. We were one of the first branches to identify the driving while black on the turnpike. Had a case where a young woman from Long Island had, right around Thanksgiving time, was a student at I'm sorry, Howard University. So she
Mhm.
was traveling down the turnpike, and this was in the late 80s, and she was stopped by the New Jersey troopers right around exit 9 on the turnpike, New Brunswick area, and they made her get out of the car. I mean, this was late at night. Made her get out of the car in a cold evening, and made her uh, empty the trunk of her car. She was traveling with her winter clothes and in a rented car, and they made her take everything out of the car on the side of the road And then when they found no drugs, because that's what they were looking for, they
Right.
told her goodbye. They didn't even help her repack. So we had
Wow.
that case. We had that case. Her father was extremely upset,
Of
and we took
course.
it to the public defender office, and then they noticed a trend that motorists were claiming that they were stopped for drugs. They didn't have any drugs on them, but yet because so many of them were prior convicted, of having
Right.
drugs,
Right.
they would cut side deals because they didn't know what to do. And so our office, the public defender's office in Middlesex County, took that case, and they found out that the same thing was happening in Camden County, and as a result, that's where that whole big investigation started. That resulted in the termination of two police officers. Two state troopers were
Wow.
terminated as a result of planting drugs on motorists.
And the NAACP was among the first to challenge that
Way
practice.
before, yeah.
Wow.
The Black Minister Alliance received credit for it, but we were there first, NAACP, and we were able to sue the Turnpike, and actually the, the defendants received money as a result of that.
Excellent.
Millions of dollars were paid to individuals who were illegally stopped. Millions of dollars were paid.
Excellent. And how long ago was that again now?
This would have been about 1986.
Not that long
They
ago, really.
No, not that long ago. Matter of fact, they had a code word for us on the turnpike. They call us jungle bunnies. They would say
Wow.
stuff like or porch monkeys, and those were the terms that were being used. As a result, since I don't know how many of your listeners know that you're a former federal agent. I hope I'm
Yeah.
not.
I think most.
Okay, okay. I'm not turning you in here, but
No.
as a result, back then you could go on your band radio and listen to the transactions
I
between the
remember
police.
those days.
Well, as a
Yes.
result of what took place with the New Jersey Turnpike, they changed their frequency. So now you can't listen to what's going
Wow.
on the Turnpike as a result of that because they were recorded, and all of that information was entered into court, and they were busted. They couldn't say that they weren't doing it because it was
Right.
all on recorded. Yeah, on
Wow.
the band radio, two-way radio.
And hopefully they're not still using that vernacular and those derogatory statements. Uh,
Well, we hope not.
we absolutely hope not. And I know
Yeah.
there's a lot more people of color in the ranks of the state police and elsewhere. Not enough from my
Still not
perspective, but
enough.
there
No,
are
no,
more.
nowhere near enough. No,
Right,
but
right. But I interviewed Lieutenant Stacy Lloyd from the state police twice actually, once for Mother's Day, and then she was actually my first interviewer on
oh,
KWBE on
okay.
this
Uh-huh.
program. And so we need more folks like her. But in any case, let's get back to what you're doing. This
Oh,
is
yeah,
phenomenal, some stuff that
yeah.
you're involved in.
Well,
But go ahead, I want you to
there's
continue.
other things we've done. We've been able to. I head up a committee called the Judicial Process Committee for the state NAACP. Our role is to recruit minority judges for judgeship, or rather, minority attorneys for judgeships. And during the Corzine administration, we were able to get over 26 African Americans on the bench, on the Superior Court
Excellent.
bench, and I was privy to the opportunity of selecting the first African American to serve in Middlesex County, Travis Francis, as the first African American Superior Court judge in Middlesex County.
Excellent.
So, and all of this is as a result of us advocating. We won a case not too long ago. Matter of fact, I guess it's been maybe about 7, 8 years ago with the New Jersey Transit. Since we're still talking about law enforcement, where they were discriminating against African American and Latino uh, uh, transit officers. We won that case, and 10 officers split $5.8 million among themselves as a result of that. And matter of fact, their attorneys were paid by New Jersey Transit, so they didn't
Wow.
even have to share that with the attorney. So we have a long history of
Obviously.
and right now what we're doing just before the expungement laws were changed, we would have no less than four expungement seminars a year where we
I know
worked
about
on
this. Yes. Yep.
getting their backgrounds cleared. So
Yes.
very active, on that end. But we've
Let,
done other things that are not law enforcement. I mean, we're the branch that brought BET into Middlesex County. At the time, the cable companies were not interested in bringing BET, and many of the people thought BET stood for a betting station. So they didn't want it in there because they thought that by bringing in there, people would be
right.
betting their money.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
we had to educate the public, our community, and then we had to fight to get it in there. But we marched at that their facility, and matter of fact, a real quick story. We had they had also banned TV Asia, so we worked with the Asian Indian community, and we showed up to do the march, and of course there were about 400 strong. We only had about three people African
Wow.
Americans, so I had to take people from the Asian Indian community to go in and just stand with the room with management, and they were intimidating enough for us to get that. So so we have a lot of,
Excellent. I got two
we work
follow up
hard.
questions.
We work hard, but we have fun.
Absolutely. I can attest to that. I got two follow up questions.
Yeah.
Number one, if you would go into a little bit of detail with the expungement,
Hmm.
what that means, because there's a lot of younger African Americans and others who might benefit from that
Yes. Yes.
expungement. And number two, I'd like you to talk a little bit about the diversity that exists today in the NAACP.
Yes. Okay. Well, with the expungement piece, we were finding that a lot of people. I think what happened was we found that people were out there who thought they had a prison record. They might have had some rub with the law, and they decided that they weren't going to apply for certain positions because certain positions require being having a license. If you want to go into healthcare business, if you want to be a police officer, some of these you do a real extensive background check, and so they were denying themselves of opportunities because they thought because of having a brush with the law that they actually had these records. So we started to look into that, and we were able to find that many of them did not have records and could have applied for those positions or applied for a license. I mean, even like in the for a beauty parlor or for barbershop, there's licensing for that too. And so we were able to, actually share with a population that you're okay, your background's okay. Then we had people who had minor charges, some as juveniles, some maybe at the age of 18, 19, and
Mhm.
they couldn't go anywhere in their life because they had these charges hanging over them. We would sit down with them. We have a very active prosecutor office. They understand what's going on, and we were able to help in using our office with the prosecutors to help to clear some of these records. For those who don't know, the expungement kit is a very thick kit. It's about if you have a record, you may be filling out almost 40 some odd pages, and they keep asking you the same amount of questions. You can actually get this expungement package online, and once you fill it out, the first page, it duplicates itself throughout
Is that
the
right?
package. Yes, so you only have
Wow.
to do it one time. So I encourage people who are looking that way. But today, a lot of these they've expanded what is expungible, and so even not to go into too many details because I could
Mhm.
spend the whole program just talking about expungements. I would
Mhm.
encourage people that, regardless of what your record is to check with you can check with the court. You can go right online with the court, New Jersey court, and they have a section called expungements, and you can click that icon, and they will prompt you through what you need to do to figure out whether you qualify or not. And but again, this only applies for New Jersey. The laws for expungements just apply for New Jersey. So if you have something in New York or you have something in Pennsylvania, you can't, no anywhere you can get it expunged here. So
Right. Right. Wow. That's pretty awesome. Now you work for the prosecutor's office now, right?
yes, yes, I
Well,
run the.
you're in the know on this, and I know we had the same job some years back.
Oh yes,
So,
yes, we did.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's which it kind of started the process of me losing my hair. But
Right.
even
I know about
before
that too.
becoming
Believe me.
president of NAACP, right? But
Yes.
yeah, I run the bias crime unit in Middlesex County. There's 25 municipalities, plus we have two colleges, we have a technical school. When incidents occur, I get what is called an incident report or a police report. And what we have to determine once we get the report is whether to charge the defendant with a hate crime or is it just a bias incident. Again, it's a little bit complicated as to how we determine whether it's a hate crime, but we have to determine that we have protected classes. Age is not, but disability is race, color, creed, sexual preference, all that falls under the guidelines. And uh, and when I started the job, I would get approximately about, and I've been in the job now for about 12 years. When I
Hmm.
first came in, we'd get about anywhere between 86 to 102 cases. Uh, just to show you, it's been progressing. As of today, which we're in the month of May, I've already passed 100 cases, and we'll probably get close to 300 at this pace. That's three times the amount of cases that I've received in the past. And,
Wow.
uh, and not only that, I get cases from the school system too. So uh, we have an agreement with the school system that their job is to report those cases to us too. So name calling, graffiti that has overtones like swastikas or writing the name of the N word, stuff like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
All of that initiates an investigation.
Excellent. Now, speaking on this, if you can, uh,
Hmm.
can you give us the NAACP perspective to the degree you're familiar with it on the recent incident in Buffalo, New York?
Oh yeah. Well, one of the we do have a committee that looks at housing. And one of the things that, when you look at Buffalo and you look at that section of town, I've been to Buffalo,
Hmm.
and
Me too. Yeah.
I was there before they really finished that highway.
Hmm.
And, it's almost similar to Newark. You build a
Yes.
highway and you trap people within that community. I mean, they're almost boxed in, and that's why that community has become predominantly African American because you know uh, you know that's becomes the most affordable place in Buffalo to live, and if you buy there, you know that your house will not be worth but a certain amount of money. It maxes out, so you have folks that are trapped in that environment, and then you have one supermarket, and if you go on the other side of the highway, you have several places that you can pick up your groceries, but there you just have that one. And unfortunately, if you walk in there, you're going to know what the population is going to be inside the
Right.
place, and that's what attracts individuals like that, who want to push, their agenda.
Amen.
And
Yes.
we uh, that is a big issue, a big concern of mine. And I don't think law enforcement really looks at white nationalism as thoroughly as they need to.
Right.
And it's because of the makeup of of law enforcement. Law enforcement's predominantly white male, and certain things that can trigger an investigation get overlooked. So we're advocating. We're at the front door, shaking the door and the tree in front. Telling people that they have to take this stuff serious.
Yes. And what about the situation with the young man, uh, tragic circumstances, and we hear this too often in America on a daily basis almost. The young man killing those people. Um, do you know anything about what the branch up there is doing to address it?
Yeah, yes. Money has been flowing in. Um, as we speak, our national office is having a meeting to find out what they can do to support the local branch in Buffalo. Um, I know that Action Network, Al Sharpton, has
Mhm.
offered to pay for the funerals. You have the Buffalo Bills that are contributing funds.
Right, I saw
Um,
that. Yep, yep.
yeah, so there's a lot of money coming in there. The good thing about it is that because money is coming in there, hopefully you're not going to get the flim flam folks that the gadflies who sometimes come in there and raise money for their own purpose.
Right.
It seems to be a lot more organized, so that
Good.
the victims can get some funds from that, some closure, hopefully. I mean, you can't close it, but at least this way, some peace of mind. But we're monitoring that, and we will, whatever our national office instructs us to do. It's an ongoing investigation, so
Right.
you have to handle it that way. We just can't parade in there and do
Of
anything
course.
we want to do. So
Right.
we need instructions.
Yeah, and monitoring it is huge
Yes. Oh
because
yes, big
monitoring it
time.
permits you to know which how to react. The national organization, how to guide its
Yeah.
branches like ours.
Well, we have a meeting coming up next month, which we will be meeting with the Jewish Federation, Anti Defamation League, and our branch of the NAACP. We will be conducting a series of forums, which you'll be a part of.
Right.
I'm letting you know for the first time,
Right.
and we'll
No
be talking
surprise.
about. Yeah, we'll be talking about white nationalism, which is right now the biggest threat to our country, the
Sure.
biggest threat to our democracy, and we're
Sure.
concerned about it. I mean, it's been around.
Of course.
People saying that it's getting worse. I don't necessarily think that. I think that it's always been there. It's always been around. I think that with body cams now and
Oh
other
yeah.
ways of video,
Exposing
we
everything.
we we
Right.
we're exposing everything now, but it's always been there. It's always been
We got about 3 minutes left, and
there.
that's
Okay,
it.
sure.
So, but let me say this to the viewers: President Reggie Johnson is going to return to us next month. We've
Oh,
already
good.
discussed that because next month there's a huge event. I'm going to let him talk about, but I do want you to say something about the diversity in today's NAACP. It's a very
Well,
diverse organization.
NAACP is extremely diverse. It was started by both white, white, Jewish, and African Americans in New York City, 1909. It combined an activist group in New York City with the Niagara movement, which were made up of predominantly African Americans who
Right.
met up by the Canadian border because that was the only way that they could meet collectively, and they joined forces to fight lynchings that were taking place in the South. So my board, we cover all nationalities. We have everybody on there. We have a white vice president, and
Right.
so we cover the gambit. It's not just an African American organization.
And
And
also, there's an event coming up that we're gonna. You'll
oh
probably talk
yes,
more about that next month.
sure,
Oops.
okay.
Go ahead. I want to
Yeah.
get you. Let's get that in real
Okay,
quick.
okay, okay. Real quick, we have a Juneteenth celebration. As you know, in the state of New Jersey, this is not only the first time the state recognizes Juneteenth, but it's a national holiday now, and we will be at Riverside Park in Piscataway on June 18th
So
from
June 18th,
12 to 6.
12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And
Yes,
what's the website for people to go to?
yes, it is www.naacpmeab.org.
What's that
So it's
MEAB for?
Metuchen Edison area branch.
I knew that.
So,
I did it for the benefit of the viewers, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
So,
we've added
and one more
Piscataway
thing.
to our names. Yeah,
Yes, because we hear the music playing. It's telling us it's time to go. But
sure.
one more thing. Tell us about the national convention. It's right here in New Jersey, right?
Yes, for the first time in a long time, it's going to be in Atlantic City. It's going to start on the 13th. We have a high school program called AXO, and what it does is it's like Olympics for our high school students to compete for prizes in various areas. The adult part takes place on that Saturday, and it runs through the Wednesday. And we have
Excellent.
all types of folks coming. If you'll get a crash course in all the issues that we're trying to address
Can they
in
still go
America.
to the NAACP website,
Yes,
the
this
local?
all they have to do is just uh, Google in NAACP.org, and they'll get into the national office, and all the material is there.
Excellent. Well, we're going to have you back before that
Thank you
event
for having me.
occurs. My wife and I already have our reservations. We will
All
be
right.
there, God willing, of course. But
Yes, we
thank you
look
so
forward to
much. This
seeing
was
you.
a lot of great
I
information.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
God bless you. We'll see you next
Bless
month.
you too. You got it.
Take care. Everyone, God bless you. Thank you for tuning in to KWBE, Kicking It with Brother Ed. We kicked it today, and we're going to kick it again next month on the second Sunday. God bless you.